Good afternoon. I have a serious video today from the Jeff Buys Cars news desk, an accurate report on what happened at the NEC Classic Car Show, November 2024. Title: Uninvited YouTubers cause havoc at NEC Classic Car Show. Begin. Mid-November is a key time in the UK classic car calendar, with thousands of enthusiasts descending on Birmingham to enjoy the Classic Motor Show. Keen to shed the image of a one weekend only old people's home for white men, this year organisers had laid on a packed programme full of influencers, automotive personalities and YouTubers, all set to woe the crowd and take away the foul taste of spending £20 on parking and the £45 entrance fee. With a huge array of cars on show, there's also the auto jumble, auction, dealer halls, club stands and much more to keep avid enthusiasts happy, although the problems began fairly early on Friday morning. New for 2024, the show organisers had launched a family-friendly initiative where exhibitors could display a sign to prove that their stand was indeed family-friendly. Most of the exhibitors thought this was utterly ridiculous because the show has always been family-friendly, apart from the price, so they began to bring their own signs in protest. The Jowett Lancaster Club had printed out a huge sign that said, "All children will be slapped," where the Raynham Rolls-Royce Club had gone a step further and stolen one of the NEC's "Trespassers will be prosecuted" signs and replaced the word trespassers with children and prosecuted with shot. Organisers drew the line when the Rover 600 Enthusiast Brigade hung their family-friendly sign around a cardboard cutout of Jimmy Savile. Although they got a very stern talking to, it was popular YouTuber Mark McCann who was the first to get a lifetime ban from the NEC. Mark is well known for his automotive YouTube challenges, many of which involve driving Lamborghinis through fast food drive-thrus. Keen to promote his channel at the show, Mark was in the middle of filming "We did 200 laps of a drive-thru and ate 20,000 chicken nuggets," but it wasn't long before Wetherspoon staff had Mark and his car thrown out of the NEC because they don't serve chicken nuggets and it definitely isn't a drive-thru. Mark wasn't the only YouTuber having issues with security staff. A well-known YouTuber from Wales missed most of Friday trying to get his car back. A keen-eyed parking attendant had noticed a dirty Citroen Berlingo parked at the front of Hall 4, assumed it was a wheelchair access car that wasn't showing a valid disabled badge, and had it towed. It ended up in a police compound in Birmingham, parked next to a Toyota Carina estate that was also supposed to be on display at the show. Cars going missing was a bit of a theme of the 2024 Classic Motor Show. Down at the vintage Ford Escort owners stand, a club member had asked the nearby Mike Brewer to keep an eye on things while he popped to the loo. When he returned an hour later, all 4 cars were sold and Mike was nowhere to be seen. This wasn't the only problem caused by the toilets. Show organisers had put the LGBTQIA+ car club next to the conveniences in Hall 5, which are famously badly signposted. Every time a bloke came out of the female toilets, the club would cheer, not realising that it was due to bad eyesight and not a desire to identify as a member of the opposite sex. Most of the men didn't seem to mind. They're all at an age where once the daily business is done, even they felt like cheering. 2 other car clubs were having issues with location. The Gay Classic Car Club had accidentally been placed alongside the visiting Westboro Baptist Church Chevrolet Caprice Club, but thankfully well-known journalist Louis Theroux was on hand to confiscate their megaphone and put out the fire and brimstone. Away from the noise of the car clubs, the classic car auction soon got underway, with the room erupting into chaos when a Ford Escort Cosworth sold for £200,000. 2 buyers who were frustrated with the sale clubbed together and bought a Lotus Carlton, which they then used to ram raid the hot dog stand, insisting that that's what you do with a Lotus Carlton and that it was cheaper to buy the car and steal the hot dogs than it was to pay for the hot dogs in the first place. This wasn't the only crash of the auction. When a McLaren 675 LT failed to make anything near its lower estimate, the team from Auto Alex got to work with sledgehammers. They half destroyed the car before auction staff stopped them, but it wasn't long before Matt Armstrong turned up with a flatbed, attracted by the smell of a broken supercar. There were plenty of bargains to be had in the auction, although auctioneers were most surprised when a Ferrari 456 GT was bought by a primary school teacher. When interviewed, she said, "I wasn't looking to buy a Ferrari, I was shopping for a Nissan Juke, but come on, 31 grand for a V12 Ferrari in the perfect colour, that's almost Dacia money. This is going to be much more impressive in the playground, and I've always fancied the high life." Rumours that auction staff were dumping unsold Jaguar E-Types and Austin Healey's in recycling bins around the venue are yet to be verified. As Friday turned into Saturday, yet another YouTuber would be ejected from the exhibition centre. Due to the adverse weather, minor YouTuber Jeff Buys Cars had decided to move the annual Jeff Buys Cars barbecue indoors. After telling all of his followers to hide inside cars until the lights went out, they set the smoke alarms off at 3 a.m. whilst roasting a hog over the charred remains of a standard 10. With Jeff firmly on the naughty step and ejected from the venue, 3 Jeff followers did a roaring trade, undercutting the hog roast man and only taking cash. But they too were ejected from the show when staff found out that they had used money from the takings to pay the chairman of the pre-war Bentley Drivers Association to go and ask iDriver Classic if she was on OnlyFans yet. Once again, for 2024, the Sporting Bears were back in action doing dream rides in fast cars for charity. Although Lee the Mapmaster was dismayed to find that not only did no one want to ride in his Porsche Taycan, but he couldn't afford the fish and chips. He responded by making a 3-day-long video of him walking around the NEC trying to find his car. On Sunday, the real buzz was in the auto jumble, especially from the traders, who were desperate to offload all the shit that they'd unpacked on Friday to avoid putting it back in the van on Sunday. All the offers came out, including 2 for 1, 10 for 2, and a free Jaguar E-Type or Austin Healey when you spend a tenner. The die-cast cars and Hot Wheels stands were also awash with customers, although nothing about it was family friendly. Fights broke out between Hot Wheels collectors when a rare treasure hunt car was found, and 3 children had to be treated by paramedics after the fight that followed. Police said the fight wouldn't have been able to escalate quite so quickly if there hadn't been so much scrap metal available in the auto jumble, giving Hot Wheels fans a variety of things to pick up and smash each other with. We are told that they were able to remove the Rolls-Royce bonnet topper, and the gentleman is expected to make a full recovery, albeit with some issues sitting down. The auction continued long into the afternoon with a raft of motorbikes going under the hammer, but even the auctioneers got bored because nobody cares about motorbikes. Half of the bikes were auctioned properly, but the second half were given away in an energetic game of musical chairs. With the auction finished, the hog roast done and the pastries all sold out, 5 p.m. came around and the blaring of horns signalled the end of another classic motor show. One trader simply left his stand where it was, saying, "It's all scrap anyway. It was scrap on Friday and it's scrap now, but I've earned 200 quid by writing vintage Jaguar on everything." He was the first one out the door, followed by hundreds of others as the halls slowly emptied. Most of the classic car enthusiasts managed to find their own vehicle, with show staff on hand to help men who couldn't remember which car was theirs. "Last year, I went home in a Triumph Spitfire," said Trevor, 74, "which was a bit odd because I'd arrived on the Friday in a Stag." "I didn't mind so much," laughed Colin, 82, who said he was quite happy to spend the year with Trevor's Stag, although he was surprised that Trevor hadn't missed his wife. Eventually, the halls were empty, apart from the cleaning staff and Lee the Mapmaster, who's still looking for his Porsche, and 5 older men who had all decided that they didn't want to go home and pay the heating bills. They're currently sat in Wetherspoons, eating chicken nuggets, watching YouTube and waiting for the restoration show to start. 100% true. All of it. Thank you very much. Let me know what you thought in the comments.